question is.
Okay, so do you know what alcoholism is?
To me, alcoholism is bottom line. You can't stop drinking.
Okay, can't stop drinking. Perfect. So alcohol then would be the problem, right?
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying, if you took the alcohol away,
No, it's me.
it's you.
I'm the problem, not the alcohol. Alcohol is just a symptom.
It's a symptom of the problem, right?
Right.
Alcohol is actually the chemical solution. You're using the chemical solution to treat alcoholism. It's not the problem, and you're not the problem. There's an illness, and the only way that it's being treated so far is with a chemical solution. Alcohol may be one of them. There may be other chemical solutions, right? So do you know the difference between a substance addiction and a process addiction? So a substance would be alcohol. It'd be drugs. You ever done drugs? Yeah? You ever done drugs, Jackie?
Not really.
Not really? No weed?
Oh yeah.
That's a drug. So ingesting a chemical would be chemical or a substance, and if I keep doing it and I can't stop and I can't stay stopped, that'd be an addiction, right? There's process addictions, right? When I play the slots, I get a hit, right? When I go on Facebook, like a big one's like, oh, should I do my nightly inventory or should I just look at YouTube, right? That's a hit. I'm getting something inside. Porn, gambling. Some people get it from food. Some people get it from sex. Love. Most of the time we think we're in love as addicts. It's just a chemical in the brain. You can be addicted to it. Once it wears off, it goes away. So whether you're ingesting the chemical or whether you're creating the chemical, it's the chemical solution to the deeper problem. Okay. So, just so you know, all right? So, the first step. So I come in and I go, alcohol's the problem, right? It's a problem by the time I get here. Absolutely, it's a problem. I got DUIs, I got bad hangovers. It's a problem, right? But it's not the problem. Okay? I'm treating alcoholism with it. So the first half of the first step is the only place it mentions alcohol. It never mentions it again in the steps. That should tell you something right there. It's never mentioned again. I met a man, his name's Herb K, and he described unmanageability. He said that was the real problem, and what it looks like is I have a lack of power. And that's what the book describes. Bill says, lack of power was the dilemma. I had to find a power by which I could live. He doesn't mention stay sober. I have a living problem. Lack of power is the dilemma. This book is to enable you to access power, which will solve your problem. What's my problem? Lack of power. So it actually is an instruction manual in the big book in the first 164 on how to access power. Because my problem is lack of power, then the solution is going to be a higher power. This power source I'm running off of isn't sufficient. It's a tiny little battery. I keep doing it. Doesn't work, right? 99-cent store, you buy those? I think I'm getting a deal and I'm really not.
Yeah.
Right? Now you can harness the power of the sun. So here's, we'll come back to this later to find out what that really means. First drink. Okay, so I take a drink. My mom's not an alcoholic. My mom sat here in one of these meetings. She watched it. She watched everything. I've seen her drink maybe once or twice in my life. She takes alcohol, usually like a toast at a wedding or something. She drinks a little bit of the champagne. She sets it down. She gets a little tipsy. She doesn't drink again. I don't see her drink take again 10, 15 years, right? That's not how my body processes alcohol. My body processes alcohol. When alcohol enters my body demands and craves more alcohol. On a cellular level, it biologically needs more. They call it the phenomenon of craving, and it's an allergy. You were right, it's an allergy of the body. I'm different from a normal person. Anybody else have any allergies? Anybody here have any other allergies?
Asthma,
You got asthma, so what are you allergic to?
trees and grass.
Pollen?
Flowers, yeah.
Anybody else got allergies? What do you got allergy to, Liz?
Cockroaches.
Cockroaches?
Yeah.
You break out in like hives or what?
I don't know. That's what the doctor told me.
He told you you have an allergy to cockroaches?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever rubbed a cockroach on you and find out what
No, I've
happens?
not eaten, drank its pee, nothing.
Okay. How about peanuts? Is peanuts an allergy?
Oh, yes.
Okay, what happens if you were to eat peanuts and you have an allergy to peanuts?
Everybody's
Shock.
different.
Anaphylactic shock,
Yeah.
right? So your throat's gonna swell up, you're not gonna be able to breathe, and guess what? We're gonna be taking you without an EpiPen. We're gonna be driving you to the emergency room, right? Okay, Jackie, let's say we drove this guy 15 times to the emergency room because he keeps eating peanuts, all of us. And he's stashing peanuts in his pockets and in his backpack, and he's eating peanuts when we're not looking. Is the body gonna be the problem? What's gonna be the problem? The mind's gonna be the problem. So, just like we said, alcohol's a problem, not the problem. The body's a problem, it's not the problem. Because you know what? We go, hey dude, your body has an allergy, stop putting it in your body. You go home, you never put it in your body again, you never see any of our ugly mugs. You just go home and stop putting it in there. So, although the body is an aspect of it, it's not the main aspect. So, to answer your question when I asked at the beginning of this, what is alcoholism? Alcoholism is a fatal and progressive mental illness. Fatal and progressive mental illness. It's fatal because it'll kill you. It's progressive because it gets worse, never better over time. Even if I'm separated from alcohol, right? It's an illness because it's like disease and it's in mental. It centers in my mind, and I can't be free from it. Okay? So once the allergy from the phenomenon of craving happens, I end up drinking more than I intend. You ever drink more than you intend? I doubt you'd be sitting in an AA meeting if you hadn't, but okay, kind of a dumb question, but okay, what happens? What happens when you drink more than you intend?
Consequences.
Pass out? Blackout? What kind of consequences?
Undesired consequences.
I mean, desired
Break out
consequences.
handcuffs.
Okay, what else?
Yeah, there you
Arrested.
go.
What else? Blown paychecks. DUIs. What else?
End up in the hospital.
Death.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. There's.
Alcohol poisoning.
There you go. What else?
Jail, DUI.
Jail,
That's a
DUI,
good
ruined
one.
relationships.
Yeah.
How about the hangovers?
Psych wards.
How about the hangovers?
That's you.
Losing your job.
Losing
Oh, that's a good one.
the what?
You can cure those.
You can cure hangovers? Yeah, but they're miserable.
Man,
I've had some miserable hangovers.
I've had hangovers for
Well,
3 days.
It depends what you drink and everybody's different.
Pickle juice, and never tried pickle juice.
3-day hangover.
Meat
Okay.
doesn't do
Let me say something though. The alcohol in the beginning, when I said it's the chemical solution, it was a damn good chemical solution.
Oh, yeah,
It
was
worked
a-
really
it
freaking
was
well.
a bomb, tickety,
Right?
bomb, bomb.
And now here's something crazy. I chased that chemical solution and wishing it would work the same as it did my 30th year of drinking, right? As it did the first year, right? I didn't drink that long.
40th year.
Yeah, right? I chased that first, like, oh yeah,
50th
man,
year.
I hope it works. We'll talk about why that
Come
works
on
in a
now.
second. Okay, so does this describe the consequences? Pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. I'm demoralized with myself one more time. It's incomprehensible, sitting in jail, another DUI, lights flash behind me, and I feel pitiful, right? So
Right.
I'm spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally bankrupt.
Yep.
Sometimes it follows with this. Oh, well, might as well go get drunk. Might as well go to the bar. Might as well get a bottle, whatever.
Might as well shoot myself in the head.
That's one that comes too, right? But you know, it never really gets that far
No.
because this thing will want to get you there, but then it just really wants more alcohol, right?
Yeah.
So
It threatens you with it.
so then what's the other thing you'd say?
I'm gonna stop.
I'm gonna stop for today?
Yeah, just
Or for-
forever.
No, forever.
I'm swearing off forever with and without a solemn oath.
This is the last time ever I'm gonna do this.
I'm gonna take a lie detector test and I'm gonna pass.
I'll never do this again.
Would
So help me God.
Stay stopped forever. So I'm gonna quit.
Yep.
Would you pass a lie detector test?
Oh yeah.
I would have.
Yeah? Yeah, when you're throwing up in the morning
Oh
and
yeah.
swearing it off, you'd pass a lie detector test?
Yes.
I wouldn't remember.
You have what?
I wouldn't remember anything.
You wouldn't remember anything in the morning?
No, you're talking about lie detector test. If it's in regard to
quitting.
Things that happened the night before is what
Uh-huh.
you're saying?
No, I'm saying I would pass a lie detector test the second I said, I'm going to stop drinking today.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
got
I'm
it.
never doing this again.
Thank
They
you
would
for
they would
that.
hook me up to the machine and they'd be like, he's telling the truth.
Yep.
He's telling the truth, right?
Thank you.
And I'd be like, I look at the judge, I swear, God, lights are flashing behind me, get me out of this one, I'll never do it again, God, I swear, right?
Mom's grave.
Yeah, puking, freaking, having to go to work, I swear I'm never doing this again, right? Family, it doesn't matter who's pleading, I'm never doing this again. Now, for the longest time, I just thought I was changing my mind. But I would literally pass a lie detector test, right? And here's why. Because I'm making a decision, right? I'm making a decision. Okay. I can make that decision all I want, but I don't have sufficient power to back up that decision if I have alcoholism. And I never will. There's nothing to do with alcohol. Alcoholism is a mental illness. It doesn't give me the option to back up that choice. That's why I've lost the power of choice. No choice. It's like me saying, "Oh, I'm gonna jump off the roof, and I'm not gonna hit the ground."
Yeah.
And I keep saying it again and again. No. This time I swear I'm not gonna do it, and I'll pass the lie detector test. I don't have the power when I hit the ground. Gravity's gonna kick in. It's just the way that this thing works. I can swear it off a million times. I can pass a million lie detectors. I'm never gonna have the power, yet I keep making the same choice. So let's find out what happens, right? So you swear it off. Okay, what usually happens if you swear it off? Besides you're drunk by noon, which was me for like 3 years. I swear it off in the morning, I'd be drunk. I'm just gonna have one, cycle will continue. And just do this over and over, right? Well, what sometimes happens? Go to jail,
Yes.
you get separated from the alcohol if you're not doing things inside. What's another thing that happens? Go to rehab. You been to rehab? Yeah.
You get put
So
on a
living-
5150.
Okay, so what happens when you go in there? They feed you pretty good, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're working out,
Yeah.
feeling a little better, a little
Oh,
pink
yeah.
cloud.
Yep.
You got your
New
pay,
hoe.
you blowing your paycheck over alcohol?
Yep.
No, because you're sober.
Yeah.
Yeah, pink cloud. You got your
Oh, yeah,
license.
you're all
Amber, you
good.
got car insurance this time?
Oh, yeah. I got car insurance, got a new boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New little honey, little
There
bit of
you go.
money in your
Yeah,
pocket,
yeah,
new
yeah.
apartment. You feeling pretty good?
Yep.
All right.
Everything's coming together.
Coming together on the outside, right?
Oh, man, it's all good.
Well, here's what just happened. Dis-ease. I have a dis-ease. Dis-ease. Okay? It's restless, irritable, and discontent.
Right on.
And here's what happened. You just took away the chemical solution that you've been using to treat your alcoholism. You just took it away.
Yep.
So,
Now I'm jonesing.
the chemical solution is not in my body anymore. So what happens when you have an illness and you stop treating?
You get sicker.
You get worse, right?
Yeah, you get sicker.
Okay, so you might have a pink cloud for a little while because all the external shit looks pretty cool. And you may feel pretty good. Yeah, pink cloud. Maybe you're going to a couple meetings. You're reading a book.
Yeah.
Right? I'm feeling all right.
You're all good.
Right? But here's ultimately what you just did. You just took away the chemical solution from your fatal and progressive mental illness. Now it's going to flare up. And here's what, if you don't understand, you're going to keep fighting the chemical solution. Alcoholism, on your own power, on my own power, as long as I'm not dead and there's light on in these eyes, whether they burn me in an urn, spread me in the forest, dump me in the ocean, put me in a box, as long as I'm alive in this meat suit, because I have alcoholism, I will never have peace, ease, and comfort. I have no power to have that between
That's
my
right.
ears.
That's right.
I've been treating it with alcohol because the alcohol quiets. It used to do it very well. The alcoholism, and gives me the present moment. It gives me peace. It's actually a synthetic solution.
Yes.
Here's how you know when you go to the liquor store. It says wine and what?
Spirits.
Right, wine and spirits. Because I'm getting a fraction of the spiritual solution in the bottle, and it works really well.
That's right.
Until it stops working. So in the beginning, I drink it, and it would,
Yeah.
right? I could be real present, real at ease, right? Towards the end, it'd go, hey, you should have a drink, and I drink. It wasn't real
President.
It was like, oh, you're a piece of shit. You know what I mean? It's just it'd be like a drunk voice in there, because it has your voice, and then I just go, oh, might as well just keep getting drunk, right? So, you take away the chemical solution from the illness, right? What happens? You're stuck with dis-ease, okay? Dis-ease. And then here's what happens. If you're left with the disease long enough, and there's two stories in the book, right? There's Fred and Jim. One guy's not having a very good day, obsession. One guy's having a perfect day,
Yeah.
obsession. So it doesn't necessarily mean I gotta be all messed up or whatever.
Yep.
The obsession can hit good or bad
Yes.
if the spiritual work's not being obtained, right? So here's what happens. Obsession. What's an obsession?
Gambling, Facebook.
No,
An obsession's
you
a
can't stop
thought.
thinking about it.
It's a thought that
Yeah.
hijacks
Yeah.
every other
Yeah.
thought until it gets what it wants.
Hijacker.
And there's no human power, your sponsor, your family, the judge, the state, they can't separate the thought. So it's gonna play out. If the illness has already reached the obsession point, things like, oh, why didn't you call your sponsor? It ain't gonna matter. This thing's already in full mode. It has to play it through. Like, you can't, you know what I mean? That's why they say, like, hey, you could be in the freaking Iceland and you're gonna find an Eskimo.
Like you're in a bipolar
It's
episode.
no,
You're
it's like a
on.
seeking missile. It's gonna go right to what it is. There's nothing you can do to stop it,
Right.
right? So an obsession's a thought that hijacks all other thoughts until it gets what it wants, and it's coupled with a couple things: a blank spot, a mental blank spot, right?
Yep.
And a delusion. Andrew, right? Tell me a delusion it comes with when it says you should have a drink. A delusion's a lie that I believe.
Everything's gonna be fine.
It's gonna be all right. Is it gonna be different this time?
Absolutely.
You're gonna just have one?
Sure.
All
Maybe
right.
two. You know.
Yeah, no consequences,
That'd
right?
be great. Yeah,
I'm not
that'd be
hurting
great.
anybody.
I'll
That's a
show
good
them.
one. Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh, yes.
I'll show them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then you know what a mental blank spot is?
Everything after that.
Well, no. The mental blank spot comes prior, and it basically says I can't see that I can't have one drink. I can't see that I have an allergy and my body's different. I can't see any of the consequences or the pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. I can't ever see that I've sworn it off. It's a veil of unconsciousness that I will never just one day go, oh yeah, that's right. If the obsessions hit, it doesn't matter how much time you got, you're screwed.
Yep.
And it's gonna be unconsciousville. You're literally just gonna be like I've heard stories of guys in 15 years stepped away from the program on an airplane, ordered a drink, put it to their lips, next thing they know they're drinking. They have no idea how they even got there. Right? Mental full-on blank spot. Lack of spiritual action resting on the laurels, right? Because what happens is the laurels through that ninth step and all that, when your outside world starts to get better, then you coast. You go, oh man, this is
Oh yeah, I got
right.
this.
Sessions vanish. I'm feeling better, right?
Yeah,
Now
I
let's
got
talk
it.
about that outside world. Here's what's weird about alcoholism. Okay, alcoholism is like I'd classify it personally as like bipolar schizophrenia, and here's why. I don't know when I'm untreated, and it literally looks like it's everybody else.
Yep.
It's all of you. You can't drive in Bakersfield. No one here in Bakersfield can drive. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Right? Freaking screwing me on my paycheck, my taxes, not appreciating me, like it's nothing's going good, right? So it looks external, but it's an internal problem. And it's restless, irritable, and discontent internal. It's a huge problem inside. And so Clancy says it in Chuck C's book, he says in the forward, because alcoholics, they become neurotic. They're crazy. The only thing that's going to preserve their sanity is the alcohol. So you can't leave it untreated. It's either alcohol, suicide, or a spiritual solution. Right? Now, prior to the 1930s, actually 35 right here, it says it, 1935, 5 recovered. 15 at the end of 36, 40 at the 37, and 100 at 38. 400 recovered at the end of 39, and then 8,000 in 1941, right? So prior to that, they just locked you away, they threw away the key, you were insane. This is alcoholism, right? So then we talk about like basically if you had pneumonia and you walked in the doctor, coughing up blood, and he goes, hey dude, you're treating it with the wrong antibiotic, you're treating it with the wrong solution, and you go, it's cool, I got it. Yeah, right? But if you walk in coughing up blood and you go, I don't got pneumonia, you look even extra crazy, right?
Yeah.
Alright, so this is alcoholism. Bill doesn't tell you put the plug in the jug, he doesn't tell you keep coming back, he doesn't tell you to go to meetings. He tells you go to the bar and try to drink. Try to stop abruptly. Try to have one. In case of the jitters, maybe worth the self-knowledge. Do you need to do that? You need to go drink to find out if you got alcoholism? I don't think so. You can ask yourself two questions. Can you stay stopped forever? And what happens when you put it in your body? If you get the phenomenon of craving, or can you not stay stopped forever? Then you're suffering from an illness or a disease, which only a spiritual experience will calm. Now, this isn't talked about enough. This is seriously no jokes, because this is a death sentence if you have it. The spiritual solution in practice right through the steps of Alcoholics Anonymous in the first 164 pages. That means getting to the 12th step and working with other alcoholics is better than anything you can ingest, shoot, snort, fuck. It's something you can't compare. The spiritual solution is the greatest thing there is. And it puts an interruption here, and then the obsession never hits. Obsession never hits, you never go through the cycle. And what you really start to find from this internal higher power is peace and ease. It actually gives you presence. It says it in the spiritual awakening. In the back of the appendix, spiritual experience. It says the essence of a spiritual awakening is the awareness of power greater than ourselves. So you feel it, you know it, you understand it, right? You get something that the alcohol kind of did but couldn't permanently do. Because once, even if the alcohol did it, then what was after that? Hangovers, drunken stupors, all that shit, right? So do you have questions on this? Because they're going to ask you if you're an alcoholic. And I got to know what the hell I got before I can answer yes or no.
I don't know if I remember all of this.
I don't think you need to remember it.
Yeah, it's already ingrained pretty much, so,
Oh, no. I have
yeah.
Can you stay stopped forever on your own power?
No.
When you put it in your body, does your body demand more?
Yes.
You got a fatal progressive mental illness, dude.
Yeah, I think so.
You self-diagnostic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Self-treatable.
Seems very familiar, all too familiar.
You can treat it with the alcohol, or you can treat it with the spiritual solution. It's gonna get treated one way or the other. Unfortunately.
True.
One's better than the other, I promise. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't something
That
better.
spiritual